What's up, guys, and welcome to the Digital Agency Hacker. Today, I'm joined with my man, Jordan Choo, as we discuss his journey on going from corporate agency world to starting his own agency and absolutely crushing it. So without any further ado, we're going to keep it real. We're going to jump in and let's have this chat with Jordan. Hey, brother. Awesome. Welcome, dude. How's it going?
It's going well. Thanks for having me, JC.
Yeah, brother, this is exciting because, we have a lot of agencies and, a lot of them are focused on like home services, or dentist or chiros. And you're in a niche. Honestly, I haven't had anyone on the show to talk about specifically. So I'm interested in learning more about you and what you're doing and your team and how you're functioning. But tell me about the space first and how did you get into this space? And then we can take the conversation from there.
Yeah, totally. So as you alluded to, JC, I work in a very unique niche, and that is actually franchising. So I help franchises essentially just profitably and predictably grow, using very revenue-focused digital marketing strategies. So the way that I got into it is prior to starting my agency, Kogneta, I actually worked at one of the, big head honchos, bloated agencies, if you will, Catalyst, if you've ever heard of it. So over there, I was actually running a team, doing SEO for huge multinational corporate franchises. So think like Tim Hortons, which is up here in Canada, Dairy Queen, Volkswagen, and I absolutely loved it. Because I actually got to see an impact of, not just helping one business grow, but almost helping, hundreds of businesses grow. Because as you know, within a franchise system, you have many, many owners within it. So I just found that super, super fulfilling. The challenges within the industry was very unique as well, which I absolutely loved. So when I left, when I was trying to niche down, I just thought, hey, why not do franchising? It's something that I know and something that I love.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So you came from the product world. You weren't a sales guy. You weren't a service guy. You were an SEO guy, and then you switched over to become an entrepreneur, dude. That's really cool. So what has been, most of the people starting their agency, they come from a sales mindset, right? They don't even know anything about fulfillment, which comes with its own issues. How do you feel that's giving you an advantage in starting your own agency?
Yeah, I think it's just the way that, and you alluded to this with your question, the way that we approach sales, in that we can go, a mile deep when talking to potential companies that we're working with. We can actually dive into details and talk about these nitty-gritty things that, salespeople may not necessarily know of because they're coming from that background. So it's provided us with kind of that leg up from a sales perspective. And, even from an ops perspective, because I come from an SEO, a strategy and execution background, we're able to create processes that really hone in on what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, dude. I think understanding the product, I've been talking a lot of time about churn, service, keeping clients long-term versus sales, right? And how potentially the ability to scale is much more about churn than it is about being able to sell. And for me, what I've seen is people like yourself, when they're coming from that product and you set really good expectations, right? Like you can audit accounts, no, this client's just probably a prick. Like they've hired 5 agencies, not because they're doing terrible, but because they want something that's unrealistic, right? Versus just selling and selling and selling. There's such a huge advantage in knowing the product and where you're at, I think, right?
I agree 100% with that. You hit the nail right on the head, and expectations is just massive. Again, as you mentioned, I've seen times where a salesperson will, promise the world, but the reality of it, based on budget, based on expectations, or some hodgepodge of factors that, the dreams that they were sold it's not realistic at all.
Yeah, dude. And it makes it so much harder because, a lot of these companies, and we'll get into, we're going to have some spitfire questions, I guess, so to speak, on how you've grown and scaled, because I think it's cool. From a white label company, we do a lot of white label. It's so hard because when we set those wrong expectations, now we're shooting from behind. Now we got to overcompensate. Now we got to do stuff that normally we would take, 2 or 3 weeks to optimize it down before we scale. Now we got to try to do it in week 1. And it becomes so much more difficult all the way around. I mean, I'm curious, in the franchise world, so you're working with both, how do I grow the franchise? How does the franchise sell more franchises. So McDonald's needs to sell more locations, but then you're also going, okay, how do I grow those specific locations? What are the difference between those two marketing strategies, high level at least?
Yeah. Well, it's two different products. It's two different audiences completely, right? Because when you think of it as the franchise development side, which is actually helping franchisors, sell new locations, you're looking for, say people that have a high net worth that are looking to become an entrepreneur, are looking to maybe invest in an additional location or additional franchise system. So the way that you approach that, the content that you create, the ads that you show them, the platforms that you're on is completely different from, say, trying to help McDonald's sell more burgers, where you're targeting more on the B2C side, those consumers that are hungry, that, maybe you're doing TikTok and Snapchat rather than LinkedIn and Facebook as an example.
Yeah, it's huge. And it's so many of us, when we're first getting started, we don't realize, like, we just, hey, I sell Facebook ads, and anyone in the world, Facebook ads can work, right? Like, don't worry, we're going to get you 20 million ROI. It's nuts, right? But like really understanding. So it sounds like you do a lot of different things, right? You have a lot of different packages. You're molding those packages to that client, really to not the client, but to the audience of that client, right? So who is buying a franchise? Who is buying a hamburger, or, whatever franchise, right? What are some of the different packages? Because so many people right now, a lot of these coaches are saying, focus in, like only focus on one thing. Don't do so many things. Like, why have you chosen that route versus the other? And how have you found it,
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't take a kind of cookie cutter approach to how we do marketing, because every client that we work with, it's a different set of situations. Some may have a really strong content side, some may have a really strong ad side. So it really depends. So what we do is, we essentially have what we call a foundational development portion of our campaigns. And essentially that is really setting the baseline and understanding, where they are, where they're trying to go, who are they trying to target, when is this all supposed to take place? And then based off of, this criteria and others, that's when we say, okay, you're going to need Facebook ads. You're going to need LinkedIn ads. You're going to, you need to set up your CRM. You need to link your CRM back with GA, or you need to do all these different things. So it's a very customized approach to how we go about providing our services to these franchises. And I think taking that cookie cutter approach is just a disservice to the companies that you're working with, because, everyone is in such a different situation that, that approach is just not going to work.
You could call it disservice. You could also call it you call it laziness, dude. I mean, like, how many of us agency owners, bro? And like, we don't for me, the agency has given me everything, right? Like, it pays for my daughter's college. It's going to pay for my wife and I's vacation. Every single team member at Height, every single one of our kids, it pays for all their education as well. If you're going to have that much, like your business is going to give you that much, be a little bit more passionate about what you're selling and really understand it, right? And it all then goes in the circle, right? What you're saying, right? Like, the SEO so well, now you can set better expectations. And when you set better expectations, you have better relationships. So that when you have the better relationship, I go off of a saying, love covers a multitude of sins. So the better the relationship we have with our clients, now when things do go bad, because they're not always perfect, right? Now we can overcompensate there, right? We can explain, hey, here's what's going on. Here's the game plan. And it allows you to shift. It allows you to have more time, right? I'm curious. So product side. So I like where you're at. We're on the same page, bro. And that's on point. With team, how have you structured your team? Are you more so doing VAs, hiring full-time in-house? Are they overseas? Like, how have you taken the approach to developing out your team?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we look at work, it's kind of grouped into two separate parts, regardless of whether you're doing SEO, PPC, CRO, content, whatever. On the first, on one side, you have strategy. So this is actually understanding, okay, like, we are in this situation. In order to help a client grow to their goal of X percentage this year or this quarter, we need to do A, B, and C. So that's strategy side, really being understanding what needs to get done, how it needs to get done. The second part is what we call execution. So actually going out and executing this stuff, right? So it's like writing the content, building the links, building the account structure, running the ads, optimizing the ads, so on and so forth. So the way we have our team structured is we have people called like lead SEO, a lead CRO person, a lead PPC person, and they're guiding, developing this strategy for our clients. And then we have people who actually do the implementation execution. So, these people, they know a bit about SEO, they know a bit about PPC, but they're not necessarily experts. They have maybe been doing it for 1 or 2 years. So that's kind of how we divide up our team. We're a completely remote team. I'm up here in Toronto. We have a few other team members up here in Toronto and Canada. And of course, we have some people in the US and then overseas as well.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. We're the same way. So it sounds like you've got specific people for SEO, specific people for PPC, specific people, right? And it's hard to hire. I mean, like a lot of times I've seen people where they have one person for like Facebook ads and PPC ads, right? It's really tough. Like the whole strategy and how to operate is different. Like even the mindset of how to like do the bidding strategies is just completely the opposite in so many ways, right? Interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. I mean, like being able to understand the context, understand, which levers you have to pull across different platforms, across, even different content management systems. That's super important, right? So, we look for people who are specialists in their industry that have, years and years of experience and actually do good work. And because of the way that we structure our team, we're able to pay those higher rates and afford these great people. So it's fantastic.
Yeah. It's, I love that you said there because I think it's, so many of us, we try to find the cheapest labor we can, right? Like that's the first question. Hey, how much are you going to cost? Or, hey, how much you're going to have to pay them? Or, hey, what's the cost of fulfillment when if you switch that, I'm like, how much can I possibly pay someone? Like, what's the most I can possibly pay out and still be profitable and build a stable business? It completely changes the type of individual that you're looking for and gives you so much more opportunities to scale and grow and attrition and all these other, issues of business.
Totally.
I'm curious. So you've been in the corporate world. How long have you been doing digital marketing as a whole?
So as a whole, I've been doing this for the past 15 years now. So I started way back when in high school and just absolutely loved it and fell in love with it and continued doing it ever since. 15 years,
man, like that. You were in the beginning of this all. You were in the beginning, dude. That's cool. So what do you think? What do you think is it's funny because I actually have to record a video later today on the top 10 stupid things agencies do. I do it every year, right? What do you think some of the things that you're seeing right now that's like, man, I don't know. Maybe it's not stupid, but like things that people are doing that you feel like, I think they're messing up on. We're doing it different. Like that's not, I don't think it's the right way.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest part, and it's not something new at all. It's just being with the companies that you work with and putting and understanding why they're working with you, right? They're not working with you to write a piece of content. They're not working with you to run an ad or create a website. They're working with you to grow their business. And you need to keep in mind that with the services that you provide, no matter what they are, they as a company need to be able to attribute what you do to an increase or a change in their bottom line. And if you're not doing that, then you're not doing your job and you shouldn't be working with them. Like something is off. So that I find is being the biggest thing.
How far deep do you get into that? Just curious. So when you're doing like maybe an example of some conversations, right? So you're running the Facebook ads, you're doing the SEO. What are some of the things that you're translating to try to get this point across specifically?
Yeah. So, more recently, what we've been doing is making it a point to actually get access to CRMs. So actually understanding from a channel by channel basis, what type of revenue are people seeing? We do a lot of work with service franchises. So being able to understand, all right, leads are great, but franchisees don't care about leads. They care about sales qualified leads. They care about customers. They care about revenue. So actually being able to understand which channels, which piece of content, which ad campaigns, which keywords are driving actual profitable revenue is super, super important. And it gives more transparency to the franchises as well, right? Being able to say, okay, like I'm actually genuinely getting, 1,000% return on ad spend rather than I'm just getting, 200 leads every month.
It's huge. And it's even when you're able to take it and you're positioning it right? Because you have to position it right. Not all companies are just going to give you access to FriendFast or whatever CRM they're using, right? And when you position it right now as marketers, we have that much more information as well. Like how often I was talking to someone the other day and they were like, oh man, I'm getting, they asked me what my cost per lead is for, I can't remember, roofing or something like that. And I said like, probably on average about $100. And I was thinking pay-per-click, right? And he's like, oh bro, I'm getting $3. What are you doing? And he's talking Facebook leads, right? But I guarantee you there's a difference in cost per acquisition, right? Between those, and so you have to follow those all the way through. And now when you do that, you're going to be able to prove a model that speaks a language that's much more understandable by entrepreneurs. Hey, literally, you're giving me $3,000. That's producing whatever amount of leads. Its name doesn't matter, but this is how much revenue it's providing, right? This is much profitability. And it gives you this case study to be able to upsell, to be able to cross-sell, to be able to retain the relationship, to be able to give back to, whatever these types of things that you're doing. That's cool, man. That's awesome. What percentage of clients are open to like straight up giving you the CRM?
Initially it was a bit of a struggle, in order to help them educate it. But, as we've worked with more and more clients, they realize the actual, benefits of providing us with access to it. So it's been absolutely fantastic. I would say now we're in that maybe 70 or 80% range. And, as we continue to work with more and more clients, as we continue to talk with our current client base, it's only increasing.
And it's huge also, I guess, with the niche that you're in, right? You're in a niche where, these guys, if you're in franchising, you're obviously investing a lot into your business, right? And so these guys are going to, hopefully, Lord willing, have CRMs, have a little bit of operational help. If you're working with roofers or a plumber, like chances are they don't even have a CRM, right? So you have a little different obstacles. But in your industry specifically, huge advantage, dentists, different lawyers even sometimes have better CRMs. And so definitely some opportunities there as well. What do you think right now in your growth, again, exiting this corporate world, coming in, having the success that you're having, what do you think, what do you attribute it by? If you had to narrow it down to kind of one or two things, what do you think is the most important thing as an entrepreneur, specifically in the marketing world, that you got to make sure we get done?
Yeah. As someone who came from the actual service side, I would definitely just say, keeping an eye on your finances. I did not know how to read a balance sheet. I did not know how to read a profit and loss statement. So making sure you keep a very strict eye on your profitability and your revenue as a whole is super, super important. Thankfully I have, an amazing CPA that has, helped me out significantly since beginning, and has, helped educate me and inform me of, what things do I need to look for? How am I doing? Am I on trend? Am I off trend? So, just making sure you keep like a very steady and almost like hawk eye level focus on your finances, month after month is super, super important.
It's crazy to me how many people, it's crazy to me how many agencies are not focused on that. Basically I have this much left in the bank at the end of the month. That's how much I made. I take it home and I spend it, type of thing. They don't have savings. They don't have an actual P&L, an actual balance sheet. And those are the ones that when we hit this economic depression in 2020, they really suffer because they don't have a savings. They don't have any opportunity to make sure they can survive, and I'm what you're alluding to there. I think the ability to be able to survive when times are tough is more important than the ability to thrive and scale when times are, good, because eventually the other one's going to knock you out, and you're not going to be able to play. And so that's cool, man. One last question, if I may. One last question. I ask this to every guest that we have on, right? I'm big into commitments. Like, what are you committed to in life? What drives you? Your why is what Simon said it calls it. We just like to take it a step further. What are you committed to now? Like, if you had to accomplish one thing over the next 10 to 20 years, what do you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I'll answer that why question, because I think that more encompasses where I'm trying to go, what I'm trying to do.
Yep.
That I absolutely love just helping businesses grow one way or the other. And, that's why I started a marketing agency. That's why I'm working for myself and helping other businesses grow, is because I just love seeing that. And maybe it's a little egotistical of me to say this, but like by working in digital marketing, I can actually see the direct impact that my effort has on their revenue, on their profit. And it's great. I mean, I stroke my ego a little bit, but it's really fulfilling to actually see that and help other people achieve their dreams through it.
I love it, bro. I love it. Small business, it's the backbone of the world. I mean, in so many ways. And so that's awesome, brother. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time and energy, dude. This is good stuff. I love what you've done. And if there's any way I can return the favor, definitely let us know. And look forward to hanging out again in the near future. All right.
Totally. Thanks a ton, JC.
All right, brother. Have a good one.